We live. We love. We work. We dream. But beneath all of it, there is death. Not as a distant idea, but as a silent force shaping everything. You might not think about it every day, but it's there, deep in your choices. Your ego, your fears, your obsessions. Ernest Becker's The Denial of Death is a haunting masterpiece. Not about how we die, but about how we live to avoid knowing we will. It's about the psychological gymnastics we perform just to pretend we're not temporary. Becker's thesis is bold. Human civilization is a massive coping mechanism for death terror. And if we dare to look that truth in the face, we might finally begin to live not fearfully, but freely. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Human Paradox. Becker begins with a contradiction. We are animals, and we are gods. We eat, sleep, decay just like other creatures. But we're also conscious, creative, self-aware. This mix creates a terrifying condition. We know we're going to die. No other creature lives with this awareness. We can imagine our end. We can't control when. And we can't fully accept it. So we build lives not just to live, but to distract ourselves from dying. Chapter 2. The Vital Lie. Becker says every child, at some point, realizes their vulnerability. The solution? They construct a hero system, a way to feel important, protected, meaningful. This is the vital lie. A symbolic world where we pretend we're not just meat. We wrap ourselves in. Religion. Nationalism. Career. Romantic love. Fame. Identity. All of it, says Becker, is a buffer. A way to matter. To feel immortal. Mortal. To feel like we're not just going to disappear. And these buffers work until life reminds us otherwise. Chapter 3. Culture as a death denial system. Becker's most controversial claim. All culture is a defense against death. Think about it. We build pyramids. We write books. We chase legacy. We form ideologies. We worship gods. These are not just traditions. They are immortality projects. Becker says, culture gives us symbols to believe in. And those symbols tell us, you are part of something eternal. That's why we take insults to our beliefs so personally. Because they threaten the thing that's protecting us from death awareness. Chapter 4. The hero and the neurotic. We all want to be heroes. But in Becker's view, modern society has confused true heroism with performance. We strive to be exceptional, not for truth, but to matter. To feel like we deserve a place in the symbolic afterlife. But when the buffer cracks, when we can't keep pretending, when our symbolic world fails, we become neurotic. Neurosis, Becker says, is a person's desperate attempt to create their own private immortality project when the shared cultural one doesn't work. It's the mind grasping at any meaning it can find because the alternative is too terrifying. Chapter 5. Freud, Rank, and the Terror Within. Becker dives deep into Freud and his follower Otto Rank. Freud believed most behavior was driven by sexual repression. But Becker and Rank say it's death repression. We suppress fear of death by creating identity, seeking control, submitting to authority, merging with causes, becoming special. Rank focused on individuation, the attempt to become a true self apart from the herd. But even that, says Becker, is haunted by death, because being truly free also means facing the void alone. And most people would rather avoid freedom than face their own fragility. Chapter 6. Mental illness as death avoidance. Becker doesn't romanticize mental illness, but he sees it differently. He says many forms of mental suffering are extreme versions of the human condition. The schizophrenic retreats into a world where they feel powerful.
The obsessive builds walls of ritual to feel safe. The depressive sees through the lie and collapses. These are not sick people in a sick society. They are mirrors, reflections of what happens when our denial systems break down, when the veil lifts and we see the abyss. Chapter 7, The Problem of Evil. Here, Becker takes a hard turn. If death denial is our psychological glue, then challenging someone's beliefs threatens their symbolic immortality. This is why people kill for religion, wage war for ideology, demonize the other. They're not just protecting ideas. They're protecting their shields against death. Evil, then, isn't always about hate. It's about existential terror projected outward. Chapter 8, True Heroism. Becker says most of us are automatic heroes. We live out scripts handed to us. We chase meaning pre-approved by others. We follow immortality projects we didn't design. But true heroism, he says, comes from facing the terror without flinching. It's standing at the edge of the abyss, knowing there's no permanent shelter, and still saying, I choose to live fully, honestly, creatively. This doesn't mean rejecting all culture or belief. It means being conscious of our motives, being aware of the death fear underneath, and choosing authenticity anyway. You are going to die, and so am I. This is not morbid. This is the foundation of wisdom. You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't need to chase status, legacy, or validation to matter. You already do. Your breath, your attention, your love, your courage to live in the face of death. That is meaning enough. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe to Real Deep Understanding. Because here, we don't run from the dark. We walk through it awake. Like this video if it made you feel something real. Comment below, what does death teach you about how you want to live? Share this with someone who's wrestling with meaning and needs to know. They're not alone. We all carry the terror, but we can also carry the truth. And the truth is, to deny death is to deny life. To face it is to finally live.